What's going on, fantasy football fans? I'm your host, Hussein the Brain, and you're watching The Couch. Welcome to my Week 8 Daily Fantasy Football Picks video. As you guys already know, I love DFS, and one of the main reasons I love playing on FanDuel is that I'm not locked in to my lineup for the whole season. I can pick a new lineup every week. As you already know, on this show we like to pick the kicker and defense first. It gives us a better idea of our average remaining salary. This week there's actually some really good minimum price kickers. Nick Folk is not minimum price, he's $4,600. He's a pretty good kicker this week going against the Raiders. Chris Boswell, excellent kicker, minimum priced $4,500. You can pick him, or you can pick Josh Lambo, also $4,500. There's some better options, but I don't think they're going to be worth the value. Let's just stick one of those guys in there for now. Obviously, Gostkowski playing in the Thursday night game. Brandon McManus is a beast. I like Blair Walsh this week going against the Bears. Matt Bryant's really good playing at home. And you also have Cairo Santos as another option. But I like to pick a minimum price guy. Let's just put Chris Boswell in there for now. And for defenses, there's a ton of options. For cash games this week, it's really important you pick a great quarterback and great running backs. When I say great, I mean ones you can rely on. You want to really rely on your quarterbacks and running backs this week. If you want to punt, I like the Niners defense at minimum price. They're a huge risk, not too confident in them, but the Rams-Niners game could very well be the lowest scoring game this week. We have the Bears at 4,200. The Cowboys I really like as a sleeper pick of 4,500. Russell Wilson could get sacked a lot. He's the most sacked quarterback this year. The Texans, very risky, but it's going to be an unpopular pick. I like them going against the Titans. Not one you want to count on, though, for a lot of cash games. The Panthers are another option. I really like the Falcons at 4,800, the Jets at 4,800, but man, if I have money to spend on a defense, I'm definitely going with the Rams defense going against the 49ers. They're definitely slated to have the most fantasy points this week. And for an alternate defense, if I have a lot of money left over, I like the Cardinals at 5,400. That $300 to me does make a difference, though. I like the Rams a little bit more and their price less. So that's going to be my number one pick this week. So let's put the Rams defense in there, and if we really need a few $100, we can go down to, let's say, the Cowboys or the Vikings defense. Now let's go back up to the quarterback. There's a ton of options here, and man, there's a lot of good ones. Phillip Rivers, 8,500. I like that. I'm a little bit worried about the Ravens pass rush getting to him, though, so there's a little bit of risk there. I really like Andy Dalton this week. I think he's priced right. He's a little expensive, but in a cash game, he's going to be worth it. He's got Tyler Eifert to throw to, Marvin Jones, Gio Bernard, and, of course, A.J. Green. I like Carson Palmer this week. Make sure you keep tabs on John Brown's injury. He's questionable. Matt Ryan is a high upside play. He has a great matchup going against the Bucs. And Cam Newton's another guy who's really good, only priced at $8,000 and has a pretty high floor. This Patriots-Dolphins game is hard to forecast. We don't really know what's going to happen this game, a Thursday night game, but I do like Tannehill. He's a little risky, though. I probably won't pick him, but he's another option. Ryan Fitzpatrick, his price goes up just a little bit from last week, but he is facing the Raiders. Not a bad pick. I really like Eli Manning. Of course, there's a ton of risk involved here, but I really like him at 7,300. That's great value. Also, Brian Hoyer. Now, Brian Hoyer may not put up a ton of points, but for 6,900, I think that's not going to hurt you too bad. It's good value right there. And another option is Teddy Bridgewater. That's more of one of my risky tournament plays right here. Not a guy that you want to definitely count on, but I like him as a bowl tournament pick. And of course, you'd want to stack Bridgewater with Sefon Diggs. And as an alternate risky tournament pick, another one is Jameis Winston. It's going to be tough for him. He's got a lot of injuries, but I don't think a lot of people is going to pick him, and he's only priced at $6,600. Again, that's another crazy, bold, risky tournament pick. For running backs, of course, I got to talk about Devontae Freeman, the best running back so far this year. Le'Veon Bell's pretty good in cash games. He's going to have a good game. I really like Matt Forte because his ability to catch the ball is he's just going to be good no matter how the game script goes. At 8,200, he's not that bad. Now you got Todd Gurley. He's a guy you really need to consider at 8,100 going against the Niners. This guy could have 3 touchdowns this game. It's not going to be unlikely that he can get that many TDs. Mark Ingram, 8,000, worth considering. Chris Ivory, I really like him at 7,700, but he does have an injury. It's a minor injury, don't get me wrong, but when a player is injured, ends up on the injury report, especially multiple times, we have to downgrade him. And how I think of it in my head is you increase his downside, which means his floor would go down a little bit. So I decrease his floor when I do my projections for Ivory. Doug Martin's another option. I really like Justin Forsett, priced at 6,900. That value is going to be hard to beat. Same thing with Jonathan Stewart and Shark West, 6,600 for each one of those guys. I like Alfred Blue as a GPP pick. And another GPP pick at only 6,400 is Darren McFadden. I really like him because Joseph Randle's not playing. We didn't see Christian Michael get a lot of carries, and McFadden can catch the ball. Now, he's got a tough matchup, and why I like him in tournaments is because he's going to be an unpopular pick. So I do like McFadden, only in GPP. Now, the value that is unbeatable at running back, hands down, is Danny Woodhead at 6,100. I think last week he was only priced at 6,000, so the price only went up 100. He had a huge game last week, one of the top scoring running backs in fantasy. So 6,100, you cannot beat that value. If you want to punt or save a lot on running backs, I got Kyrie Robinson. He's slated to have a good game, maybe able to punch in a touchdown going against the Giants. Charles Sims, because he can catch the ball. You start him in a tournament, let's say. You're hoping for a reception touchdown. Unlikely, but you know, hey, that's how tournaments go. You got to take the risk with tournaments. And a super risky and super unpopular pick is going to be Tevin Coleman. If the Falcons have a huge lead, I could see Coleman getting double-digit carries possibly, and the Falcons running the ball towards the end of the game. For wide receivers, you have a ton of options here. There's just so many that you can go with. It's really hard to predict wide receivers this week and how they're going to do. But there are players that have great value and definitely worth considering. Of course, Julio Jones, DeAndre Hopkins, each week, they're really good picks, and they're the highest priced guys too. I really like Odell Beckham as a tournament pick. I expect Eli Manning to throw the ball a lot. Same thing with Calvin Johnson. I could play him in a tournament or as an alternate wide receiver in cash games. I could see him as both. A little bit risky when you pick Detroit Lions players. That team's in flux. Not really going. Things aren't really going the way they planned this year. I really like Antonio Brown. That's great value right there. I expect Big Ben to come back. I mean, he's a great receiver, and they're going to have to give him the ball when they face their division rivals in the Cincinnati Bengals. Brandon Marshall's okay. AJ Green is okay. I like Keenan Allen, priced at only $8,000 for tournaments. Now, Keenan Allen, he's not very consistent, which makes for a good tournament play. Other tournament plays are Alshon Jeffrey and Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper has a terrible matchup. That's why he won't be owned in too many tournaments. When we talk about value for wide receivers, you're not going to be able to beat Sefon Diggs at 6,700. No way. He's slated to have a good game. Great wide receiver. 6,700, you can't beat that. Steve Smith is also priced at 6,700. Willie Snead has been terrible, but at 5,800, he's still good value. If you have a wide receiver that has a bad game, it's going to be much worse if you spend a lot on him. For 5,800, if Snead has a bad game, you're going to be able to afford that and likely still win your cash game as long as the rest of your players in your lineup perform. If you want to save, Nate Washington's a great choice with Cecil Shorts out. He's priced at only 5,400. And Hoyer's been a pretty good quarterback, and Nate Washington should be the second most targeted player over there for the Texans. Arian Foster is out. Arian Foster actually caught a lot of balls for them. So I really like Nate Washington this week. The price is right. Marvin Jones at 5,400. It's if you really want to save some salary cap, but I like him more in tournaments because Marvin Jones, he's really good because AJ Green sometimes gets a lot of attention, and that's why he's good. I like Tavon Austin as a tournament pick at 5,300. That's pretty good. You see him getting one of those crazy rushing touchdowns or a return. You never know with this guy. He's high risk, but I like him as a tournament pick. Eddie Royal's an interesting wide receiver at 5,100. Now, if you want to save on a wide receiver, probably the best option is going to be Michael Floyd at 4,900, but only if John Brown is out. Now, John Brown's questionable. They're thinking of holding him out this week. I really like Michael Floyd if John Brown is out, but even if John Brown plays, Michael Floyd is worth consideration at priced at only $4,900, a great way to save money for your lineups. And Jerron Brown, the other Cardinals wide receiver, priced at $4,500. He's more of a tournament play, and I really like him, but only if John Brown is out. If John Brown plays, I wouldn't consider putting Jerron Brown in my lineups. And tight ends, this is a lot of options to pick from. I like Gronk going in the Thursday game. I really like Greg Olsen, but he's priced kind of high. I like Barnidge, he's priced kind of high. I really like Tyler Eifert. I definitely would consider him in my lineups at 6,000. That's going to be hard to beat. I like Martellus Bennett, a guy that may be a little bit less popular, so that's a good tournament play as well, and you can put him in cash games. Eric Ebron is priced right. Now, to save a little bit more money, we got Ladarius Green. It's going to be hard to beat that value if Antonio Gates is out. Now, I believe Antonio Gates won't play, but make sure you check up on his status. Now, if Antonio Gates is out, Ladarius Green is a great pick for your tight end. Austin Seferian-Jenkins is good for tournaments. Larry Donnell's pretty cheap. Heath Miller, that's another tournament play priced at only $5,000. If you guys want to try some of these picks on FanDuel, you can do so for free, or they have contests for as little as $1. You can win real cash, have money deposited in your account right after the games are over, and you could do so by following the link below. So go to the link below in the description. Make sure you guys use promo code Fantasy Couch. Last week, as you know, Kirk Cousins killed it for us in the last video, won a ton of money. I wish you guys good luck. Let's kill it again this week. And that about wraps up this video. Make sure you guys watch my DFS strategy video if you haven't already. It's going to really help you construct your lineups for FanDuel. Also, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'll be coming out with weekly waiver wire videos, and of course, my DFS NFL picks every week. Also, make sure you like the video, all that jazz. I'll see you guys on the next one.